Setting up fax function using fax server. This video shows you how to set up the fax server settings for you to send a fax message to a recipient whose fax service provider supports email. The fax server supports outgoing fax messages only. To support an incoming fax, make sure that you have a device-based fax, such as analog fax, EtherFax, or fax over IP, configured in your printer. Before you begin, make sure that the printer firmware is updated. To update the firmware, make sure that your printer and computer are connected to the same network. Access the embedded web server. From the home screen, view the IP address, and then on a web browser, type the IP address. Click Settings, Device, and then from the Update Firmware section, click Check for Updates. Click I agree, Start Update, and then wait for the printer to complete the firmware update. Click Settings, Fax. From the Fax Mode menu, select Fax Server, and then save the setting. Click Fax Server Setup, and then in the To Format field, type format for your fax server provider. For example, type 800801234 at myfax.com, where 800801234 is the fax number, and myfax.com is the fax server provider domain. If necessary, configure the reply address, subject, or message field to let the printer receive fax messages. Enable the device-based fax receive setting. Make sure that you have a device-based fax, EtherFax, or fax over IP configured. Save the settings. Click Fax Server Email Settings, and then clear the Use Email SMTP Server setting. Configure the settings. For more information, contact your fax server provider.
Save the settings.
To send a fax, load the original document into the ADF tray or on the scanner glass. From the home screen, navigate to Fax, and then enter the needed information. If necessary, change the settings. Send the document.